You've been gone, it's an empty home.
No, thank you very much. So, you know, I've always felt that, I don't know, some of you who, I don't know whether, those of us who come from Africa, normally we like football more than hockey. But I don't know if you watch the hockey game. Sometimes when the team is down, what they normally do is that they will take the goalie out and increase their offense. I think the plan is to make sure that they can score. I'm saying this from a kind of a metaphorical sense. I grew up always being told that Ghana was the first country to gain independence. And therefore, I should be proud of that. And I was also being told that, yeah, Ghana, you know, we have all these minerals, we have all this, we have all this. That's great. So I will always walk around with my head high. Terrific. And in some cases, in a relative term, we say, you know, Ghana, we should be lucky simply because we are better than Togo, Somalia, and Rwanda. I always hear that story as well. But, you know, one thing since the president has always been saying that he used the word, he said, I'm a president in a hurry. And I'm coming back to that analogy I made with the hockey team. And also the second thing is that we, as a country, we have to start comparing ourselves or trying to catch up with countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Korea. And we, as a country, yes, we've come that far. But I think we should be a country in a hurry. Our goalie should be sitting somewhere and increase our offense to be able to equalize. That is where we are. And my excitement level for the Diaspora unit that is created in the office of the presidency, I think gives us that opportunity as Ghanaians. Either to go home and help, or to also build something here and be able to go. I've always said that before we go home, or asked whether we can go home, we have to also strengthen our communities over here. You know, so when Ms. Nadia said it, she talked about the fact that this office stays in the office of the presidency. And that really means a lot. So as we go through this today, I just want you to picture this, that we are at a bright spot, but our goal is not to be good as, or you know, maybe South Africa, but rather to try to catch up with the countries in Asia. And I know all of us over here in this room, we have the talent, we have the skill set, we have the knowledge, we have the network of Ghanaians. You know, 25 years ago, some of us who came here were all, you know, but now, even we have young people, qualified, talented. That pool, the skill set, that is what the Chinese use, intellectual capital, and they build their economies. Why can't we do the same thing? On that note, I'll hand it over to Mr. Johnson, and after that, Honorable John Bosco.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Honorable Mr. John Bosco, Your Excellency Johnson, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for honoring this call at this short notice. On behalf of the Homecoming Committee, I'm a member of the Ground Homecoming Committee in Ghana, and we thank you all. The launching of this summit is coming on the 5th to the 8th of July. And we have a theme. Our theme is development, opportunity, value. The reason why we chose development, opportunity, value is because we want Ghanaians to be part of the development in Ghana. We also want Ghanaians to have the opportunity to showcase their talents and be part of this fantastic development. We also value and recognize all Ghanaians, and especially diasporans, because your contribution is greatly appreciated and recognized. So we say development, opportunity, value, welcome. Our mission is to enhance sustainable mechanisms supporting and promoting full diasporan participation in the Ghana development. At this point, I'm going to call on my colleague, Nadia Musa, to actually give you an overview of the whole thing, because she's part of also the committee, and also for that, the diasporan agenda in Ghana. She's the deputy director to Mr. Abebio. So if anyone gets to the Flagstaff House and ask for the diasporan office, you will meet them there. Also, we have in our midst Prince, who is also part of communication in Ghana. And at the right time, he will also introduce himself to you. Thank you very much, and let's put our hands together for Ms. Nadia.
I read something today and I thought that I should share it with you. Apparently there was this guy that collapsed right in front of a Ghana commercial bank in Accra somewhere. So people started throwing water on this guy, trying to revive him. And then at some point he kind of got up and got angry and said, "Hey, if it was water that I wanted, I would have collapsed in front of a Ghana Waterworks, Ghana Water Corporation." Okay. Anyway, His Excellency Mr. Johnson, Honorable John Bosco, the Deputy Head of the Diaspora Affairs Bureau at the Office of the President, Ms. Nadia Musa, the representative on the Homecoming Committee in Ghana for Canada, Madame Bernice J, Mr. Diodu, right? And other dignitaries here at the table and in our midst. All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. I was with the President at some point, I think it was early on this year. And with me were about 25 people who were mostly people from the diaspora. And it was a very interesting interaction that we had, during which the President stated categorically, when it comes to the diaspora, he is a true ally, he said. He also went on to say that he had a strategic framework as to how he thinks that diasporans can participate in the government. At the time, he mentioned to us that he thought that we will be great at turning around various state institutions, enterprises, and agencies. And that was his view that he was committed to. Surely you look at the government as it's been composed, and you probably find a scant number of diasporans at the very political level, which is the ministries. I believe that the Minister of Energy, the Deputy Minister of Finance are the only two people that I can point to and say these are authentic diasporans in the truest sense of the word that some of us know. However, if you look at the state institutions, the President has been true to his word, as he always says he is. There are many, many appointments. At the National Communications Authority itself, my boss, Joe Anochi, the famous Joe Anochi, who did a lot of work to make sure our elections were right on, is from the United States of America. I myself, right here, well over 2 decades, educated, worked, and lived with many of you right here in Toronto, mostly, and in Edmonton for a shorter time. Bottom line is, as diasporans, we're committed to making sure that we make a difference. That in 4 years, Ghanaians will be able to say that these are measurable difference that these folks have made to our lives, and we're committed to that. Personally, I'm committed to making sure that the vision of the leadership is executed as DDG, as it was mentioned, of operations. My job is to make sure that we follow through and we execute the plans that have been put in place. Vision that have been defined already will be executed effectively, efficiently, and persistently. That brings us back to this Homecoming Summit, which I believe it is very important. The President is committed to making sure that we're able to help diasporans fully participate in government or outside of government. And that brings in mind one of the key agenda items that the government has, which is the one district, one factory. All right, so one district, one factory. And the one district, one factory, I've actually had the opportunity to sit down with the Deputy Minister of Trade. And that's the famous Honorable Carlos Ahenkwa. And he told me that really what that whole concept is all about is that it's really about your business plan. And I made that analogy right at the beginning, which is that, again, that guy was in need of money. So he made sure he collapsed right in front of the GCB. Okay, not in front of the Water Corporation. So you have to put your, essentially, what you care about, okay, is what you need to make sure you focus on. You have to be persistent. They're talking about business plan. Okay, the government could fund, at least the last time I talked to the Deputy Minister, he said at least 40% of your cap is your capital. And for people that really have great business plans, perhaps you could even, if it's not private sector support, you could well get the government itself to even fund beyond the 40%. They may go well over it. But you have to put the work into it. If it's something that you really believe in, get a great business plan, get it out. That office that Nadia is one of the key leaders at, it's really meant to make sure that your work goes to the right place. I know a few people have expressed to me that they have concerns that they will put a plan together and somebody might steal it. And in Ghana, as we've seen, our country really needs a lot of transformation and a lot of change at a time where people could just kill, essentially, people for almost nothing. So we really need a lot of change in our society. So if you're concerned somebody might steal your business plan, make sure that you go through the right channels, put it together, put the work into it. You care about money, collapse not in front of the waterworks, collapse in front of the GCB. Put your money where you care about. Get it to Nadia's office, get it to Mr. Ababio's office, make sure that they protect what it is that belongs to you, and that you follow through. You got to put in the work. but I can assure you that the government is committed to making sure that great business plans are executed to turn Ghana around, so that at the end of the day, we all see real progress and change, positive change in our society. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, gathered here again, it's my pleasure to launch this Homecoming Summit, which is slated for July 8th to the 8th. Welcome to Accra, welcome home, and let's all make Ghana great. Thank you.
I had a prepared text to read, but I think Mr. Dudu is trying to change my mind. And when I get into that mood, it can be terrible. And so I'll be guided by my text so that I do not get into that mood. For me, it's a distinct honor and privilege to welcome you all to the launch of the forthcoming Home Summit in Ghana in this premises. I say that with great nostalgia. Nostalgia because the journey for diaspora engagement did not start yesterday. And the best experience that we have to date is how our country won its independence. It was our pioneering fathers of the UGCC seeing the value in our nationals living abroad that went to the US to bring Dr. Kwame Nkrumah home, to be a paid employee of the UGCC, and together they worked effectively to bring independence to Ghana. That is the real and truest example of what we can do as citizens. And so, if our president today calls on Ghanaians abroad to help in the engagement process, he means well. Because it is your right and responsibility to grow and develop our country. It is that concerted action that makes our country what it ought to be. And if we sit here and we do nothing, we should blame no one. Because we have a visionary leader who is set to move and advance our country. And if each and every citizen, no matter how little you can do, help, our country will be great and strong. Our president has shown commitment by emphasizing diaspora engagement by moving it to the presidency. And for that reason, we should not make this an event in futility. 16 years ago, we had our first Homecoming Summit, 2001. 16 years later, we are having another Homecoming Summit. We ask ourselves, what is the difference? The difference is that if you and I support the president to make his agenda real and true, it would happen. And what Mr. Dodu says, Ghana can and will become equal to Malaysia, Korea, Singapore, and the countries that we started off with, and we were better than they were at that time. I've heard since I came to Ottawa some Ghanaians saying that I'm fed up with our country. That is a defeatist approach. That is not a thing to be said by a citizen of a country. Now, if I say I come from Afghanistan, it talks about who I am, the image that I have. If I say I come from the United States of America, I'm proud. It is because those people in those countries, US and Switzerland, have sacrificed to make their country what it is. We all want to become citizens of those countries, and we can ourselves make our country proud and great. I'm saying this to emphasize so many things. And let me give just a few examples and I would give you peace. In New York alone, we have more Ghanaian doctors than we have in the whole of Ghana. And if for 1 month, 10 of them could go and help, or even establish networks to help our country, what would Komfo Anokye be like? We wouldn't be talking about next to die. We wouldn't be talking about the problems we have in Kolebu. But if the best and brightest fifth of our population decide not to engage, then we have no reason to blame anyone. We have a fine time, we have good leadership, we have a leadership that is willing to engage and work with you to make our country what it ought to be. And so, I would ask that you join government with the gifts of your mind and the strength of your arm to push this agenda forward. And whatever it is to make our country, in Trump's words, great again. We are here to support. The consulate is here to support, and we have diaspora desk officers everywhere to support the president's agenda and the office, the Diaspora Relations Office at the presidency. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming this evening to be part of this Diaspora homecoming lunch. You all recall that this engagement process has been an ongoing one, which is very much embraced by the community. Sometime last year, we had a validation exercise, which is ongoing. Now, I see this lunch for the homecoming as a new platform that seeks to drive the engagement process to another level, for which I want to encourage all of you to take advantage of, to participate effectively in this program so that you have the opportunity to network with private sector players, government, and all that you need to know or you want to do, you should be able to put that across. Government recognize the immense potential that is in the diaspora, and that's why it sets in motion programs of this nature to attract you back home. There are so many investment opportunities back home that you can tap into. We have the manufacturing sector, a lot of opportunities, real estate, a lot of opportunities, the tourism industry, a lot of opportunities, even the oil and gas sector, downstream, a lot of opportunities abound there that we need you to deploy your skills, your talent, and resources to help in the development of Mother Ghana. So for me, I see this opportunity as one that everybody should see himself as an equal partner in development. Government wants you to be part of the change agenda. And that's why it's seeking to get all of you back home to come and then deploy all your resources and skills. Be part of the voice that will make Ghana a better place. So let's all give this initiative that they're about to launch our maximum support, and I'm sure that with the facilitation office that is being created at the presidency now, it's an indication of government's commitment not only to see things at the policy level, but to get things down to implementation. I want to believe that the office that we are privileged to have Nadia there would ensure that when you eventually go home, at least you have answers to the investment needs that you have. We are here as government representatives to make sure that we continue to guide you, to direct you, to help you if you want to go home. But like she has said, we now have an office at the presidency that can link you up to the various areas, business development, GIPC. Remember, this whole program is a partnership that is being launched to help in your needs. We have GIPC, we have the ministry, we have the Diaspora Liaison Office, Business Development Center, and other institutions. It's a stakeholder approach that they want you to understand that as long as you deploy your resources back home, you will not regret it. Because we now have a congenial business atmosphere.
Ghanaians that are allowed to buy treasury bills, because I had that problem. I wanted to buy treasury bills last year when I was in Ghana. I used my Canadian passport. The bank wouldn't allow me. They said they wanted a Ghanaian passport. Fortunately, I'm a dual citizen, so I was able to buy. So what are you doing about this? Because people have money and they want to buy treasury bills. So and they are not Ghanaians.
Let's keep going with the questions. So let's get.
My name is Clement King. My question, first of all, thank you for making it possible for all of us, encouraging us to come home. This goes to Nadia, or to whom it may concern, actually. I would gladly want you to walk me through. I'm sitting here in Toronto, I want to go to Ghana. Do I pick up the phone and call you from here? If I get to Accra, I'll call you. How do I get in queue? Because it's not as simple as going to the castle and saying, hey, I'm the king, I'm here. It doesn't work like that. So how do you do it? Please walk me through. And also, finally, let's say I brought you my business plan, a plan that I've spent so much money on, comes to you. How do you guarantee that this plan is going to be my plan at the end of the day and no one else's plan?
Okay, so my name is Anna Edu, and I'm speaking from GCAO point of view and activities that the office wants to come and do here. From what he's saying, our communication to the public wasn't right. And as Mr. Dodu mentioned, we only started planning on Sunday. What I would like between GCAO and your office is, before you plan an event, you need to give us a lot of time so that we can do the groundwork here and everything. Everything that we do here, as you know, Nadia, costs money. Renting a place, we'd like to have refreshments for people and all of those things. We're struggling here with our functions as it is. We would like money to come from your office if whatever is being done here is to promote what your office is doing. We know how to reach people, but 5 days will not work, and our message will not go out properly. So what I'm saying is we need more time. Mr. Dodu is there, you can reach him directly. I'm there, other people are there, so that we work well and we present good programs to the public. That's one. On another note, when it comes to registering businesses, NGOs and things in Ghana, it works. Myself have an NGO both here and in Ghana. The registration was smooth because we knew exactly which ministry to go, who to speak with. Officers there were more than ready to help us. They would actually go out and look for cases for us to support from that ministry. So I would like to say that we all know Nadia, she was very dedicated when she was here. So we shouldn't lose heart in this meeting. We should have courage that because she's so well vested here, her children are here, she is interested in making things work. So let's not dwell on what didn't work before. Let's focus on the positive, that the door is open, and she will do the best that she can for us. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ivan Fosu. My question to you is, what mechanism is in place to solve these police and judiciary problems in Ghana? And the second one is another mechanism whereby our infrastructure is kept in place, because when you come to the Western world, Europe or everything, their core infrastructure is kept. But in Ghana, any party comes, he dismantles it and starts all over again. It seems to be going around in the whole of Africa. So what mechanism is this government going to do?
Okay, so I want us to go back to get everyone's questions. Where's the mic? Oh, over there at the back.
Thank you, sir. My name is Reverend Father Kenneth. Of course, I don't consider myself as a Canadian. I'm a proud Ghanaian. And those of you who know me know that I stand for Ghana. And so I want to help talk about two things, and I come to the communications people. Somebody asked a question about admission and why recognize somebody. The real situation on the ground is that there are standards in Ghana. And if you don't meet the standard, you don't get it. That's a simple answer. Why can give you an award for winning whatever, but if the particular program he was looking for, he couldn't meet it, why should we don't have to employ mediocrity. No, if you want to do law in Ghana, you need to meet the standard for doing law in Ghana, and that's simple. It's not because why there's somebody. No, I don't think so. We've gone through the university system, and we need to meet the standard. Two, I like what Mommy said, and I want to say it again. Doing business in Ghana works. I am a priest. I have 2 NGOs. I only left Ghana for Canada 9 months ago. I came here in September. I'm still here. And if I want my NGO to run, I will let it run. All I'm trying to do is that let us believe in our home. Until we believe in our home and understand that there are flaws everywhere. People are talking about Ghana as if it's hell. It's not hell. It's home. And if we want to go and work back in Ghana, it can work. People have gone back. People have failed. People have failed even here. And so if you go back and we go through the right processes like the Consulate General said, unfortunately we use hearsay. Hearsay does not put money in your pocket. Thank you. It rather drains your money. Let's go through the process. But I want to finish my statement because I'm going to church.
But
I want to ask
tree can tree yet why why?
I want to talk about communication. I've been in Canada for only 9 months.
Excellent.
I've been in Canada for only 9 months. And I don't see any Ghanaian publicity here. Yesterday I was on my phone, WhatsApp, or Facebook, and I saw Senegal promoting their beaches. Senegal, Cuba.
So can we, Pastor, I want to
I know this, my question now, my proper question now is,
because there are other people waiting.
yes sir, my question now is, please, how can we market Ghana? Maybe go to the diasporas. Senegal is marketing beaches. We can also market Ghana. Please, let's market it. I'm not talking about the invitation. The marketing itself. Thank you.
So when I go to the back, I think there are people in the back, they are not getting the opportunity.
Hello, everybody. I had a quick question regarding the summer. Now, from now until July is sort of a short notice for some of us to be able to make it to Ghana. Now, is there any way that we can partake in this from being there, like maybe like a live stream or some sort of way that we can also sort of know what's happening? Instead of us having to travel to Ghana to partake in something like this. And there was a comment that the pastor here had made, which was promoting Ghana. I feel like the government is not doing much because in terms of like me, I'm an entertainer. I do a lot of events, and that if you look at somewhere like Nigeria, the government is investing a lot into entertainers because they're the people that's going out there and promoting. A young person is not ready to get into politics or any sort of manufacturing. We don't have resources. So I feel like the government is sort of really not looking into the things that us, the young people, can grow in and be able, because to have such great talents, but half of them can't travel the world. They don't have visas. And to come out here to do a show for a Ghanaian artist demanding maybe $20,000 to do a show, it's not feasible. Therefore, the show doesn't happen. Nigerians will come, people will hear Nigeria. You're talking about African music, they're talking Davido, Wizkid, but our talents are being neglected because there is nothing pushing them to get their talent to the rest of the world. We love the music. We don't see them. There's fans here who are fans of Lumba. I think the last music was 20 years. Money is asking too much. Some governments do fund these things simply because it sort of brings us together and it makes us sort of look into sort of going back home. As an entertainer myself, because I feel like a lot of things that's been spoken about, they've neglected that whole sector. And it's a billion-dollar industry that Ghana is overlooking for many years.
That's a very good question. So, Nana, there are people in the back.
Yeah, mine is quite brief and short. What I'm saying is that it has become evidently clear that I'm Albert. Sorry, Albert Akins. Yeah, also part of GCAO. And it has become evidently clear that most of us here are quite interested and want to get to the process of getting back home on the diaspora issue. Now, what we want is please put up some numbers, whom to contact. I mean, as quickly as possible because we know time is fast running. By the time we go around and everything, we may not have that time. Let's get some numbers, what the contact lines, and have some numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hello, my name is Eric, and it's been a very great opportunity to be here. My question is, this is not the first time that we're having this kind of homecoming event. It's happened as the Honorable High Commissioner acting has said we've had it 16 years ago during the Attendant Force administration. The effect was it wasn't very successful to my opinion, and as people who have gone to Ghana at the time. Many people went and then they actually had to come back with almost empty-handed. So my question is, how true or what is the framework you have in place to ensure that this will be different, or there will be structures that you have that will ensure that there is a structure or there is a benchmark. This will be a benchmark, or the previous one is going to be a benchmark. What really are going to stand on? What can you say that 4 years to come, when we come here, we will have a success story to tell?
Okay, I think Pastor Moines in the back, he wants to add a question. Okay.
Hello, my name is Ben Obin. I'm in the banking industry. I work for BMO. To add to the ladies' question, just a suggestion. We came all the way from Hamilton, and I got to know of this event yesterday night through my former boss, Mr. Faber Johnson. Why don't you use the churches and the Ghana shops when you're organizing such events? It's easy for us to connect with the churches and the Ghana shops so that we can get those informations. Also with the Diaspora office, are you only in the Flagstaff house or you are in the districts? Because you know when you get to Ghana, you can't just walk into the Flagstaff house. But you have offices in the districts, like the district capitals, in the regional offices. Amen.
Thank you. My name is Pastor Eric, and what I have to say, I believe a few people have just written a little bit. I'd like to say thank you very much for what we're doing and what the government is doing. It's refreshing to see that the government comes up and is up and running on the hit the floor. It's very good to hear. But one thing that I'd like to point out, I'd like to know is that everything, have to have a continuance. This is not the first time. I believe less than a year ago there was another delegation that came from Ghana, and we spoke and talked at length about issues about Ghana. We brought out some number of suggestions. So my point would be that
what continuance is there? 8 years from now, 4 years from now, when this government, when we all think that we love, is gone, who is there to continue this leadership? Is there anything in place such that no government comes and then just cut it off? Maybe next time, Nadia is going to have the office at the flag by the government. And so then why go there? Maybe I've heard about this now, and I set my mind in motion and try to prepare. By the time I'm ready to get to Ghana and invest properly, 4 years, maybe 8 years, and by that time, the government who instituted this is no more. And so what happens to me? Maybe I'm the middle of it. You see, there has to be continuance, and there has to be also, what we call proper feasibility. Now, a harvest is only as good as the ground that you sow on it. From your first statement, you said you make reference to doctors in United States, New York, being more than what we have in Ghana, but they're not prepared to come. Have you found out why they're not prepared to come? Because just like people die in the operating tables, so are the plans that so many governments in Ghana bring out. The doctors in Ghana, they are very knowledgeable, they are talented, but they don't have the equipment to do what they need to do. And so it's the same thing with the doctors or the other professionals who are outside. They may be good, but they don't have the proper tools, the proper things to work on when they come back home. And so their talents are wasted. What is it? What has this government taken into consideration these plans, and to see that when these people are coming back, there will be something for them to use instead of just wasting their talent and coming back home.
Okay, so now thank you so much. So we have enough questions. I think we have about written over here. Some of them are very straightforward answers we can give. So we'll just give the opportunity here to go through some of the highlights of these questions and try to answer them. And I think from a time check, I did say that we would like to wrap up this. This is not the end of it. Somebody asked me the question, I think it was Mistaken, said that, look, what do we need if we live here? Who do we contact? We'll provide that information. So we will do that. But I know that, trust me, if we, so many things on our mind. If we want to go through everything on our mind, we might stay here till tomorrow. But let's try as much as we can to answer some of those questions. So I think one of the questions that was asked about treasury bills, I don't know whether anyone, Nadia, you can answer that really.
Okay, it's good that you actually answered that. You asked that question. One of the things also that we are working on, that we're hoping to get it started on our first term in office, is to have a diaspora bond. So with the diaspora bond, you are able to put your money in, and it's strictly for diasporans that can actually put investment into that. And also to have a system whereby you're able to transfer your money from your, wherever you are, account into that bond. So those are also something that we're working on. Someone even suggested to have a diasporan bank. Why not? So those are all things that people are coming into the office, they bring in ideas, and we're using them and working on them.
Okay.
Let me try to answer a few of the questions. Nadia, I think you'd have to walk them through, or Benis. Yeah. I am very grateful to Reverend Father Kenneth Kosa for believing in Ghana, and that's the first point. We have to believe in our own. And if you don't believe, you cannot do anything about it. Then I would, is it Pastor Eric? Yeah, I would dwell on some of the issues you raised. Having institutions, strong institutions, so that there will be continuity and so on. From my point of view and where I sit, the office in the presidency is to affirm commitment and ensure that what is said we will do in terms of policy is actually implemented. It's a badge of authority and commitment. And in diaspora engagement, it is not in one sector ministry alone. It is a collective and inclusive enterprise. Its collectivity and inclusivity goes beyond sectors as well as individuals. It's a partnership and so on. And so They are coordinating sector ministries, relevant sector ministries, to ensure that the work is done. Now, someone talked about districts. When you talk about diaspora engagement, the best constituency when you're dealing with diasporans is the missions abroad, where we have representation. And so, if you cannot call Nadia and there's something pressing to talk about, go to the consulate, come to the mission, talk to us. And you should expect that we send the message across to them to work on it. I think that Ben also raised the issue of communication, and Prince answered that issue. We would have discussions with Prince how to automate the system so that we can advertise and so on and so forth. In the mission in Ottawa, we've already started thinking about automating our systems, the services we give to you. So you sit at home, and we've done that in New York, we've done that in Washington, we've done that in London. And so we are thinking of automation, and gradually we will get there. I think these are those that I recollect.
Okay, so I'm going to give a brief overview of the 4-day summit. And actually, the summit is designed to provide you with information on new opportunities available in Ghana to aid diaspora return and reintegration, as well as the support mechanisms not readily available now. So we've put that in place. And again, Nadia's office is a good resource, and the Consul General's office is also a good resource. But the 3-day overview of what is going to happen, I'm just going to mention a few. So on day 1, is mainly going to be business development and entrepreneurship. So there will be a lineup of lots of diaspora businessmen and women who've actually succeeded, and they're going to talk about how they were able to reintegrate into the system. And then we have some of our ministers also supporting that. One district, one factory will also be mentioned on day 1. Day 2 is going to talk about labor laws and work ethics in Ghana, and we all need that. We need to know the laws in place and the ethics involved, because sometimes when we come, we are misled by people, and again, we've been through that, and then you end up your money being squandered. I've actually personally sat in Nadia and Mr. Abibio's office, and people have come, and they've actually held their hand to the right offices where they're supposed to start from, because sometimes you don't know where you're supposed to start, and then you start from the middle, where by the time you get to know where to start from the beginning, your money is already gone. So it's important to talk about that. Day 3 will feature engaging presentations and dialoguing. So we'll be having little dialogues, and people can ask questions and that kind of thing about what their concerns are, and most of it will be answered then. So we're encouraging everyone, if you are thinking of coming to Ghana, please, this is a time to come and network with the right people, and then you get to know. So even spending 1 week is like coming to Ghana for 6 weeks and not knowing where to start. And then by the time you know where to start, it's time for you to go. So I think I'm encouraging everybody to be part of this summit on July the 5th to the 8th. Thank you. And the live streaming, we will put it on our agenda, and we'll talk about it when we go to the meeting next week. So it's very, actually, it's a good suggestion, and we will carry it forward to the committee. Thank you.
I think I will. So there was a question about the what through. What you were saying, if you wanted to go to Ghana, you wanted to itinerary, how would it play out? Is that answered now? Not really?
No.
So,
it's all about the conference.
yeah, I think the High Commissioner did talk about, the acting head of the mission did provide an outline if you want to go to Ghana.
Oh, the conference, I just give some information about the conference.
Right, exactly.
The conference is at OSU, the conference center. OSU Conference Center near opposite the cemetery. And from 8 o'clock, yeah.
Website.
Is there a website that they can get information? Accra, yes, I said Accra, the conference center. Okay, the website.
I raised my hand. I want to ask a question.
Okay, can I finish, please? The website is www.ghanadiasporas.org. So it's Yes, so I think Mr. Emmanuel is going to circulate it around to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so that is why we collected every information, your contacts. So we'll make sure that some of this information we'll send it to you, and of course we'll summarize even some of the questions here. Though we might not have got the time to go to them in detail, we will make sure that these questions go to Nadia's office and Mr. Sife's office as well.
Yes, I do. My name is Albert, and I'm really, really moved by Mr. Johnson, John Bosco, Nadia, your commitment, and then also Dennis, and I forgot your name. Emmanuel Dudu, and then the other guy. So what we need to do is be very, very optimistic. It's not easy setting up anything, even here in Canada. So we have to be very, very optimistic. All the negativity, things that have happened in the past, let's put it really behind us, because we have a lot of accomplished professionals amongst us. All those doctors you're talking about, here in Canada, we also have a lot. And so everybody has to bring a little bit of Canada and what you can contribute to Ghana. However, we need some planning. I am thinking that this whole summit should actually be maybe every 2 years. I think you will still generate a lot of interest. My main question is, what is the definition of diaspora? I know we're talking about Ghanaians. What about our fellow Black, African Americans, African Canadians, Jamaicans, who really are passionate about Ghana, and they want to be a part of us, and they want to help. Okay, so does that definition go that broad?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I think this is a powerful question. My brother, your question too was wonderful. Thank you for bringing your ideas. So that's great. And I think we got it. You talk about the cost and all the hotels, so that is also taken care of. So, no question, there is no stupid question in the world. So whatever question you have is a good question. So thank you for these wonderful questions. Like I said, it's just the beginning. We have structures over here. We have the mission. We have FCA, we have also the Ghanaian Union. So there are a lot of places where we will continue with this conversation. I did mention at the beginning of the meeting that before we leave, I wanted us to hear from Dr. Odami for 3 minutes. Then after that, we will wrap up. Ms. Ama, thank you for that comment. That was powerful. Great. So.
Yeah, it's very refreshing to see the new government wanting to engage diaspora. I want to tell you a little bit about something, and I think the conversation is more being stressed on a Ghanaian in the diaspora who wants to invest in Ghana and make profit and benefit from it. But I want to turn the other side of the coin. President Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. I believe that the first step to really investing in Ghana is to do something for free for Ghana. And that's the project, and I will ask the Diaspora office. I've read about it. I think there's a big element that is missing. If you look at countries like Israel, countries like Philippines, countries like Malaysia and China, their best investment are their nationals who live in North America and Europe, they don't leave. They remain there. But they are a rich source of skills, of information that benefits the country. And I'll tell you about a project that I'm doing. So I'm a pediatric hematologist at the Hospital for Sick Children. So while I was there, I got an opportunity. The Canadian government said, we are looking for partnership with your hospital to promote health of children and mothers in the developing world. And I said, wow, this is an opportunity. Out of 12 proposals that were made to the, then called CEDA, which is now Global Affairs Canada, my project to train pediatric nurses in Ghana. Now, if you talk about health, and health is an index of development. No matter how developed we are, if we are not healthy, we go nowhere. 56,000 children die in Ghana before the age of 5. Many children don't even have the opportunity to live to be adults. They are dying from preventable deaths. They are dying from things that shouldn't kill them. If we're going to develop, we've got to stop that. And the way to do that is to give them skills. So I put in a proposal that SECCASE has the expertise to partner with our Ghanaian nurses training schools and the College of Nurses in Ghana to give specialized skills to nurses so that it doesn't matter whether they are in Accra or Dr. Chua or Tamale or Mamprusi, wherever they are, they can have access to specialized care. So we put in a request. The Canadian government gave us $9.45 million. I'm not done yet. To train 2,500 of these nurses in every region, particularly the underserved areas where under 5 mortality is highest. And so we have now started a program in Accra, in Kumasi, and Tamale, just so that we can serve the southern, the middle, and the northern belt of Ghana. And these nurses are being selected from districts where child mortality is high, so that they can go back to those districts with their skills and be able to make an impact. SECCASE, my hospital, decided to contribute $3.45 million. The Ghana government, the Ghana Ministry of Health, and Ghana Health Service, in kind, because they will have to release these nurses for a year to be trained and pay them salary while they are in training. So in kind, Ghana Ministry of Health is contributing $9.1 million. Now, the reason why I'm here is that don't think about what you're going to gain by going back. Ask yourself, with my skills, the social worker, you are a nurse, you are a banker, you are a doctor, you are a businessman. Can you just go to Ghana and pass on your skills to somebody? And for the Diaspora office, I have to tell you, there are many of us who have been successful. We don't want anything more. One train nurses here, German. Osha Clinic.
I can pay them and I say, I get a different story. With the Colibun, in I put in my shamway.
The office I want us to think about as a parallel office, it will take a lot of work, is find out those in the diaspora who want to volunteer their skills. Okay? They don't want any benefit. They are so skilled, they've been so successful, they just want to give back. And they need a kind of organization and structure. But it has to be led from Ghana in that, from what you said so far, I go with my business. But if you have your priority areas, let's say water, sanitation.
I love that. The priorities areas.
Sanitation. Sanitation is
Thank you.
So, $3.45 million is to be raised here by the Hospital for Sick Children. And appealing to the churches who are here, I think if we can demonstrate to the Canadian government that we can contribute to that $3.45 million, there are going to be bigger partnerships where the Canadian government invests in Ghana and the Ghana government can also be partners in this. So this is a training program. It takes about $10,000 to train one nurse. And their training is superb. They learn to set up drips on dummies. They learn to intubate babies on dummies. We have skills lab that they practice this on, so that when they go into the clinic area, they are able to support doctors. And in many places there are no doctors. These nurses can save lives. And I want you to be part of it. We'll come up with an opportunity for you to decide as a church that you will sponsor one nurse from a particular place in Ghana, or you sponsor 10 nurses to get trained. And we'll give you information about how they are progressing, particularly when they go back to their areas to be deployed. So this is something that I want the Ghanaian community to be part of. And I think we want to show the Canadian government that as Ghanaian Canadians, we are interested in the development of our country, not only for our own benefit, but to benefit the nation primarily. Thank you very much.
You've been kept